All right. So I think it's just echoing just because like I had it on. So I'm going to try and not do that. So so this is Endymion, right? And I've watched his videos before. And so we'll just talk about this like until he the by he I mean my PlayStation. He's struggling. He needs to download this game so I can get into it. But let's see. All right.
Nobody wants to spend the money on anything really new. Everyone is sick of all the newer games mostly. New releases are also coming out every single month with massive budgets, huge marketing campaigns, yet people are still not buying them. Studios are laying off developers, major franchise.
So my bad. I'll let him finish, but I think part of the reason why people aren't buying games is because one, the economy is shit. Like it's hard to buy games when you don't have a lot of disposable income because you have to choose like, oh, is it this or is it that? Do I choose my hobby? Or like if you have a family, you might have to use your disposable income for something they might want or need. I think that's part of it, but also games are becoming so big that this is my criticism of movies as well. Games are becoming so big that you're putting so much money into it. You're putting all your eggs in one basket, right? You might have two or three baskets, but all of your eggs are in those baskets instead of having a bunch of like more diverse baskets. And oh, we're gonna put an egg here. We're gonna put an egg here. We're gonna put an egg here. No. We have this basket. We're gonna fill it up, right? And we're gonna give it out to people. And if they don't want this batch of eggs, we're going to be in trouble. And I think that's where a lot of game studios are doing. I think Bethesda has done that. Uh, I think a lot of game studios are just like they're creating a situation to where their game needs to sell like hundreds of thousands of copies in order for it to be a financial success. And part of it is just because they're expanding so much and throwing so much money at it to where like they're basically throwing a lot of money down the drain. They're not even using the money properly. I think if you got a lot of really good gamers and really good like game testers, they could tell you how to fix certain problems and how to do it at half the cost. And you wouldn't need that much costing in order to make a good game. You really don't, right? Like you see it throughout indie games all over the place. Obviously, you want your next every project to be bigger and better than the last one. But does that always mean it has to like spend more money, right? Do people really care about certain like small aspects of a game? Like the most important things of a game are gameplay, and I would say polishing, right? The game doesn't have any game breaking bugs, and I would say like the story. And if you can just get good writers in the writers room, you don't need 50 writers writing your story, but you might need like two or three people developing the main story, and then a couple people, a team who is a part of that, communicating with each other, developing talking about like the side quests and the side stories and then how they can tie into the main story, whatever the case may be. But my point is, they are becoming so big, and this is with movies as well. Movies are spending so much money to where a movie has to make $1 billion just to succeed. We don't need to have movies like that. You can make a really good movie on a smaller budget. You can, right? I remember watching Godzilla minus one, and that was my favorite movie that came out that year, and it was amazing. I thought it was amazing, and they did that on a budget of like less than 50 million. Like it was ridiculous how much money they spent on that movie, and I think they blew it out of the water. It was amazing. So
Are pivoting to survive, and the analysts are freaking out wondering if a crash is coming or not. Yet despite this, that just isn't the case, is it? In fact, people are playing games more than ever. So the
this
real
gameplay
question
looks amazing.
isn't why aren't people gaming as much? It instead then becomes why aren't people buying new games anymore? The mantra was always if you get a bigger budget and a larger team, it will lead to a better game, which hasn't been the case for a long
That
time now.
does
If
not
you ask me,
correlate
I think
at
the
all. I,
reason
I like
isn't
I
that
completely
players are
understand what he's saying, but like he's basically mocking them about that doesn't correlate. Just because you spend more money on something doesn't mean you're gonna make more money. You have to spend that money wisely, and where you put that money matters. Like A game that costs $20 can make more money than a game that costs 70. It's completely possible. Um, you just have to put your money in the right spot. You got to be able to put the talent where the talent needs to be, and let them work, like just let them cook. Sometimes game studios step in the way and say, hey, we want this DEI higher, we want this in our game, we want that in our game, and it comes to a point where they're actually taking over the creative process, to the point where, why did you hire the creatives? Like Netflix does that too. I have a big criticism of Netflix, where they would hire people to make a show, but then they will step in and be like, hey, we need you to change that, we need you to change that. And usually it's fine with producers, but the problem is when you're trying to tell the creatives that they're not allowed to create in the way that they envisioned it. And if they're not allowed to create in that way, why are you paying them? Why don't you just do it yourself? Why pick a creator and say, hey, we need to use your brilliance, your artistry, your talent. We need you to come and use it with us. We will do right by you. And then they show you their art, their talent that they created. It's like, oh, no, wait. I need you to change all of that. Change all of that. Like, I don't know. That's not how it should go. Like, let them cook, man. Just let them cook.
Stopped playing games because they're too expensive. I think the other reason as well is because people in general have just stopped trusting the industry that is meant to service them too. Some games are still gonna make bank though. Crimson Desert, of course, is coming soon. And I also want to speak about that new Pokemon game later on in this video too, because that is making waves as well. But Crimson Desert is going to be a massive success. Game, all the girls, from all the pre-review hype, every single person who's playing it right now has said the same thing, which is that Crimson Desert is living up to the hype that it promises to deliver, and then some. Yet despite this, Crimson Desert being said to be this game that will deliver on all fronts, there are still people in general on forums and social media and more that are all still not believing that a game like this can still deliver what it promises. It actually got so loud that this distrust that rightfully exists because it's typical of AAA to, overpromise you and then underdeliver, that the head of PR for Crimson Desert had to, as seen here from Eurogamer, flat out just tweet that he's sick of the accusations and that he promises that the dev team and the game itself are not trying to hide themselves at all. You see, the reason why this is happening is because a lot of people don't trust AAA these days, and I mean, who can blame them really? But also because Crimson Desert has been showing off a lot of PC gameplay exclusively, but not really console footage, which has made a lot of people believe that it's going to be another Cyberpunk 2077 at launch situation again, where the superior version is being used to entice people to buy in by lying to you, but the inferior, more broken versions are what actually await many players instead. Here's exactly what the PR manager for Crimson Desert said via Reddit. We're not hiding anything.
That's like,
and I'm sick
that's
of
what
having
you could
to repeat
do.
Myself.
Almost what you should have been able to do in Dragon's Dogma.
That we'll reveal things ahead of launch to give people adequate time to still pre-order the game for themselves. We're saying this openly. Let us cook, please, and thank you.
Yeah. Let them cook. I'm okay.
I mean, Will Powers,
I am of the
PR
mindset
guy,
to let the
even replied
cook.
to the Reddit post where he said this: people have the right to information to make an informed purchase. Simply put, that's transparency, and that's what we're promising. But people demanding information on their timeline is entitlement, and that needs to end. I kind of agree. You can't really demand things if the developer just isn't really ready to show it yet. By the way, Crimson Desert comes out mid-March. Yeah, this month. Kind of hitting it close, not gonna lie, but
honestly,
the best way to put fears to
Crimson
rest
Desert
is
has
usually
shown
to just
quite a
simply
bit.
release some gameplay
they've
videos
shown a lot more
of the game running on consoles specifically to then disprove the naysayers.
Sorry, I'm gonna pause it. Like, they've shown a lot more in terms of just like, I've seen a lot of gameplay from them and a lot of just little things, and I've seen a lot of creators upload their own footage, way more than I've seen from a lot of other AAA studios. Like, a lot of studios have the embargo to the day the the content drops, and like this, I think they've actually been pretty generous and pretty open from what, like, comparatively to many other studios. I do know, like, what's it called, when Cyberpunk came out, that was a whole fiasco, but like, we had no idea how poorly polished the game was. I hope this isn't like that, especially because people did play it early, but they played it on the PC version of the game. But there is a Japanese channel where they released console version, like they released footage and gameplay of the console version, and it seemed to look fine, right? Obviously, we're gonna find out.
At least, I guess, the PlayStation blog did have a statement on how Crimson Desert runs on PS5 and the Pro. They basically said that the game is well optimized, it runs very well according to them, and especially on the Pro, it will take full advantage of the hardware available to offer a seamless experience. As you can see here, these are clips of Crimson Desert taken directly from that PlayStation blog post themselves, showcasing the game running on PS5. To me anyways, from what I'm seeing, it looks fine, I guess. Apparently on the base PS5, the game will be able to achieve somewhere around 40 FPS. Not 60, unfortunately, but on PS5 Pro, as seen here from the PlayStation blog anyways. They say there that the PS5 Pro version of Crimson Desert will be able to run at 4K resolution at higher frame rates. They don't say exact frame rates here, but obviously I would assume it's probably above 40 FPS if that is where it's running on the base PS5 at least. Whether that's enough for you to buy in, I guess let me know.
If they give me the option, I almost always prefer to run on the higher frame rate, just because even though like I'm on console, there's only so much you can do, right? But I almost always prefer to run on the higher frame rate. I just think the higher frame rate is just easier. It's just more fluid. I like fluidity in my games. So if they give us the option, we're going to try and push it as close to 60 as we can get. Obviously, I know they're limited by the hardware, and this game looks good, right? But also, Dragon's Dogma was locked at what? It was like 30 on console. Like you can feel it when that happens, and it's just, you know, you can feel it. So I'd rather have it a little bit more fluid. For me, like 60 is very fluid. Like it's fine. I don't need a game to be at 100 something. Like I just need it like smooth 60. I feel like every game should target 60 FPS on like 1080p at least. And now if you're going to 4K and you have the specs for it, more power to you. Go for it, right? You have the like most optimal gaming experience in my opinion is 4K at like close to 100 FPS, but 60 is like, to me it's like the gold standard. I think every game releasing in the 2020s and onward should be aiming for 60 FPS in their games.
But for me, I'll be playing it on the Pro myself. And I mean, the difference between the PS5 and the Pro, it's definitely an upgrade, I have to admit. I mean, I did play Resident Evil Requiem on PS5, and then I played it on the Pro after myself. And I gotta be honest, the Pro version was superior in every way imaginable. It wasn't even remotely close. The PS5 version ran well, sure, but it did stutter slightly in the more open environments, like Leon's playable sections in Raccoon City. But when I played it on the Pro, those areas were smooth as butter. Not to mention the whole 4K resolution and all of that with the Pro were just insane to see. So if what they're saying is true, then I fully expect Crimson Desert to be a similar case too. Unfortunately for consoles though, it is what it is currently. I mean, the PS5 is 6 years old at this point, obviously can still run most games very well. Which is crazy, but when you get into these more graphically demanding games, it's becoming more clear to me anyways that the Pro is more so the, now I guess if you want to call it, the definitive experience. Whether you like that or not, it kind of just is what it is. As for Xbox users, unfortunately, I have to say, I don't have much on that. I don't know what it looks or runs like over there, but hopefully I'm guessing it's just as good, but I couldn't really tell you. But regardless, this distrust of the AAA game industry is kind of understandable, because it's happened far too many times where we see games promise the world and they end up offering like a room instead at best. What's odd about Crimson Desert, however, is that it's implementing this weird fast forward option where you can fast forward cutscenes and dialogue while still being able to read and retain what happens, so that you don't need to spend the actual time watching the full cutscene or the dialogue. I know that sounds weird, but I'm not lying, by the way. Here's a clip of what I'm talking about. Please watch this.
Go easy, will you?
So it's going super, and they added a like times 2 mode, so you can just watch it at times 2 speed.
The blueprint of a single world.
Why did you summon me?
There are beings who have brought chaos to your world, the consequences of which
alright,
extend
so
to
this
evil.
is kind of like this is kind of proof as to what they like some of the reviewers are saying, because the developers are actually like, yeah, we agree, the story's not that good. Hey, I'm sure there's a lot of people who appreciate this stuff though. This is actually really cool in a way, but at the same time they are kind of admitting like, yeah, our story's not that great, we don't really mind if you skip it. A lot of stories are like, hey, we want to immerse you in this story that we're building, not just the world, right? This is more of a world building thing. But I'm a stickler for lore. I love lore, man. That's why I really like Lord of the Rings and things like that. I love lore. I'm the guy who sat and watched an entire like 13-hour video of Elden Ring lore. But this is so funny. It's actually very interesting though. I kind of like that they're doing this, just in case there are people, like I have a friend, he does not like cutscenes at all, but he's also a ball and gun gamer, right? So he doesn't do games that don't have a ball or a gun in them. Right, so like use that take that with what you will, but like we'll see. Like I think that's pretty cool.
And you
Pretty unique.
and your comrade.
You have news of them?
You will cross paths with those who escaped Fate's grasp. But the balance of this world and the abyss has begun to falter.
We're running late, but he just won't come down. We've got to get back before anyone notices. The chief's
This is
going to be
actually a
really
really good time
upset.
saver now that
How
I
can
think about it.
Can you help me get
So
Gigi?
like you're coming
Get
home
down here
from
this
work, you don't have that long to play, right?
Hurry!
You have maybe like
You're
2
going to get us
hours
both in trouble.
at the end of
Yeah,
the
so
night
as you
to
can
play.
see, this allows
can
the
actually
game to
really
tell
speed
you what's
things up.
happening without, I guess, in a sense, wasting your time as much. A lot of people were commenting on Jake Lucky's post, who showed this clip originally. As you can see, there's comments ranging from "this is pointless" to Jake Lucky claiming that he likes his feature because he can play more of the game faster. In my opinion, this sort of option is only something that I would personally use maybe in a second playthrough, but that's just me. But this is just one of the many things that Crimson Desert
Like,
has.
I
Diverting
like
from Crimson
stories in
Desert
a
for a
game. I
second,
want to see
though,
what
there's also
what it's
another
about,
game
and I
which is
wanna
also
enjoy
making
it.
a huge splash already in Pokopia. I know, weird to compare this, but let me cook for a second. Okay? If you don't know what this is, it's basically if like Animal Crossing and Star
Guys, my coworkers have been talking about this game all week. It's a game, man. This is Sims, but also Pokemon, but also Animal Crossing. It's a game. If you don't know what this is, good on you. But they've been talking about this all week. Somebody help.
Stardew Valley got fused together with some Minecraft elements, but it's all a Pokemon game. So if you don't know, you play as a Ditto that transforms into a human that has to restore the region of Kanto. That's the setting of Pokemon Red, Blue, and Yellow. Why the Pokemon trainers are not there, why the world is seemingly destroyed, that's the central mystery of the game. Apparently they do provide an answer to this, but either way, Pokopia is selling out everywhere already. Pokopia also debuted at a 90 on Metacritic. It's now since gone down to 88 as seen here, which
The
let's
next-
be real,
this
that's
is
still not low
GTA
at all.
6 for
Actually,
women,
that's the same
guys.
score as Resident Evil
Just
Requiem. But
letting
again,
you
this
know.
is another game that's likely going to do absolute numbers since, yeah, it's Pokemon, but it's also another single player game. Are you noticing a pattern with the games that have been doing well this year? Neo 3, Resident Evil, Pokopia, likely also Crimson Desert, and more. All games offering these premium single player alternatives to the busy work of live service and more. Like I said in my previous video, I'm gonna bang that drum as hard as I can until more publishers take notice. And lo and behold,
Yeah,
all
we
those
like
games
single-player
listed are
games.
gonna
I
sell
like
crazy
single-player
too,
games
and it's
anyway.
all through established
I
quality.
know my friend
and the
doesn't,
fact that they're not
but he
always
plays 2
online.
games, you
Well,
know,
with
so-
Pokemon quality, that could be debatable, but at the very least, Pokemon games are usually not buggy, so that's good, I guess. Either way, Pokopia is going to sell like
Yeah,
crazy, unsurprisingly,
but they're also not, like,
since it is,
graphically
yes, a Pokemon
demanding.
game after all, as the BBC reported here. Pokopia
So I guess
is
that's
a smash
easier to
hit
not
with
be
both
buggy
reviewers,
when
and again, the game
you
is
have a
selling
certain
out
art
like
style.
crazy. But now, circling back to Crimson Desert, there is distrust for that game, mostly about its developer Pearl Abyss. So you see, Pearl Abyss also made Black Desert. That's an MMO game, which Crimson Desert was meant to be as well until they made it single player. Either way, Black Desert has been criticized aplenty for being very microtransaction heavy and having lots of RNG in it too. As this user said on the Reddit forums, they're worried that Pearl Abyss could heavily monetize the living hell out of Crimson Desert after release. But from what I understand, based on their PR people that they've said so far anyways, Crimson Desert will never have any microtransactions in it. And I really
That's
hope
really
they don't do
good.
what
That's
I think might
promising. I
happen,
didn't know
which is
that
where
it would
they
never
release
have
the
any
game with no
microtransactions.
microtransactions
That's
and live
promising,
service
yeah.
elements, and then they
That's
get all
cool.
the glowing reviews and all the player feedback, and everybody buys into it. Everyone's like, "Oh wow, this is the new gold standard." Only to then, like a month
yeah.
later, and then they
turn
get
around
all
and
the
add a
glowing
cash
reviews
shop
and
out
all
of
the
nowhere,
player
but
feedback. Now the scores are already in. None of that's going to change. So now they have the great scores and the microtransaction.
So my opinion on microtransactions is just essentially if whether or not it's actually pay to win. Like if you're buying something in a single player game and that thing that you're buying is like, oh, a fast travel, like the way they did in Dragon's Dogma didn't really bother me. It really didn't. It wasn't intrusive. Like you could do it, but it's not intrusive. It's not something that there's like a whole conspiracy theory, like where is it a conspiracy theory or is it just true? We'll see. But it's like a studio will make a game intentionally more tedious, intentionally more like it'll make it worse in many aspects because they will sell you the solution through a microtransaction, right? Like the reason why they don't want you to fast travel is because they want you to buy the fast travel, like the item that allows you to fast travel, or they make certain aspects of like the combat or whatever more tedious, and it's like, hey, look at this really cool gun that we have. You can buy this, and this gun has so much better stats than what you have. Like you can't even get that gun anywhere else. Like what you should just get that now, right? And those type of microtransactions, if it feels like the game is hindering itself or hindering the player in such a way that it makes you want to, it makes you feel like you have to spend that money or spend like endless amount of hours just like trying to get over the hindrance that the game's putting on you. That's where I feel like microtransactions are way too much. I don't hate them as a concept in general, but I do dislike them as a predatory act. I do think that most gamers just should probably stay away, but at the same time, I understand what it's like to be a gamer. You come home off of work and you have something very tedious going on in the game, and it's like, hey, I just want to get past this part, or I just want to get over to this area, and so let me just buy this gem that'll do this, that'll do that, so that way I can skip, I can save myself some time so I can actually play the game. And games like this, like Crimson Desert, I feel like are the type of game that they want you to get immersed into the world, right? Like I don't even think I mean, I did probably, but like fast traveling for like The Witcher 3. I played it so long ago, I can't really remember. But I enjoyed just playing the game and just enjoying the ride. In Elden Ring, like I enjoyed, like they allowed you to fast travel and stuff, but I just enjoyed playing the game, enjoying the ride. But for Elden Ring, I was like a crack addict. Like I was scratching my neck playing that game. I was like, I gotta get. And that game came out when I was in college, and I just remember I had chemistry class, and every time I would go to class, I was like, shit, I gotta play more Elden Ring. I gotta play Elden Ring. I gotta go. As soon as like class was over, boom, booked it right to right home. Like my roommate's like, are you okay? Like, dude, I'm like, dude, Elden Ring's out, I gotta play it. He had the game, but he wasn't locked in. All right, I'm gonna be honest, he wasn't locked in like I was locked in. I was locked, right? And I was locked in on Elden Ring and not my fucking studies at the time. So it was just so funny. I put like 150 hours in that game in 2 weeks. It was bad. Man, those 2 weeks were crazy. But anyway, I made it out. We good. I also have a crazy, like, kind of funny story about Millennia when I first encountered her. Like that was a nightmare. But anyway, let's.
Element. I really hope they don't do that because
I'm
that
sure
has
the
happened
game
a
is
lot
ready
in
to
the
play
past
now. I
already.
can play
Now,
it.
obviously, this could
I'm
all
gonna
change.
finish the
It would
video.
suck if they did that because, again, it's supposed to be a single-player premium game, and there's no super costly servers to upkeep or anything like that here. The only reason for cosmetics not attainable in-game or something is for a simple reason. It's greed, like always. The very emotion that has ripped AAA into pieces over the last few years alone for obvious reasons. But I mean, I wouldn't be surprised if Pearl Abyss were to implement microtransactions considering the sheer amount of hype that's behind this game right now. For example, as seen here, they've already surpassed 3 million wish lists on Steam, which is kind of absurd, and I can already bet the people who run Pearl Abyss
Wow.
are kind of looking at their pre-order numbers and thinking, if we can just offer small cosmetics or something, even at like $5 a pop, we're going to make millions on this. But then you have to ask yourself if such greed is really worth the loss of brand and player loyalty, like in the long run. But what I think about games like this, Pokopia,
I think it's
and more,
worse
that
because
have
they
to prove,
announced
especially
that
now,
they
is to ensure
wouldn't
that
have
when these sorts of games
microtransactions.
land,
If they never
that
said
they
that,
land
then I
hard.
think
Because there's
them
been
putting
far
it
too
in,
many
people
broken
wouldn't be as
launches,
upset.
half-finished systems, and aggressive monetization in other games that it's obviously leading to the general gaming audience out there to no longer wanting these experiences day one, but instead they're adapting by not buying games when they release, but instead just waiting for a sale. Because
My
usually
coworkers
by
do tell me
then,
that
these
this game
games
is
are going to be
really
fixed,
good. Like, they say I
mostly.
should get
And then
it, but
not
I don't
only
have a
is
Switch
the game
too, so-
cheaper, but
and I
objectively
don't
better
really
too. I can't
plan
even
on
lie.
buying
There's
one.
some games I
At least
wanted to
not
play
right
that
now.
I just honestly waited on purpose because I know if I waited a bit, I'll get a better product in the future and it'll be cheaper too. There's too many games that launch lacking basic features like New Game Plus even, so I totally get why people would wait then pay for what would be a weaker game at release instead. The other huge problem here is, of course, backlogs. We all have them, I know. My backlog is stupid huge.
Yeah.
There's no way I'll ever get through all of them unless I like stop making videos, turn off all my socials, reject my girlfriend and my family and everyone else.
I mean, you
and
can
then
do
just sit in
that.
my
That's an
room and
option.
play
Like, who
20
says you
hours a
can't do
day
that?
for like 2 years straight?
He's
Maybe
not
that'll
locked
catch
in,
up.
guys.
But that's obviously
He's not
not
locked
really
in.
realistic. But that's a problem
And
that
Demian,
the
you gotta
industry has
lock
to
in.
deal with too when releasing a new game, because right now everyone, well, we all have too many games already. Between the Steam sales and the subscription services with all those games, and then there's your backlog, of course, you already have hundreds of hours worth of games that you already haven't finished. And you know who you are. You know which game you bought for full price and haven't touched yet, but like, don't worry, I've done that too, so I get it. But this is another reason why people are buying fewer games.
Yeah,
For many
that
people,
that
the
happens. I
problem
think that
isn't the
happens.
lack
I
of
think that's a
games.
canon event for gamers. Do you guys have games that you bought, and then you're like, I'm gonna get to this, and then even like you get to the main menu or you get through like maybe one mission, but then you don't touch it again, and it's not because you don't like the game. It's because maybe something else comes out, or something else, that a game that you've already been playing has your attention. Usually a multiplayer game, right? A game that you can just endlessly play, or like something like maybe you just don't have time with work and whatever, and when you get off of work, sometimes you don't feel like going on a whole journey. Like for me, when I was playing Baldur's Gate, and when I would get off of work from Baldur's Gate, that's all I wanted to do, was when Baldur's Gate came out, was play Baldur's Gate. That's all I wanted to do, to the point where I would take my laptop to work and use the PS remote app thing on my laptop, and I was playing Baldur's Gate at work when I was on like my lunch break. But when they get home, a lot of people don't want to sit down and play like a heavy RPG, because usually when you sit down for those type of games, you want to sit down for a few hours. And a lot of times you don't have a few hours. You have like 30 minutes to an hour, maybe 2 hours. And sometimes that's not enough time. Usually when I played a game like Elden Ring, when I played a game like Baldur's Gate, I was seated for 6 hours. Like, I'm like, this is what I'm doing today. This is what I'm spending my time doing. I'm seated for like the next 3 to 4 hours, right? And a lot of people just don't have that much time. So it happens to the best of us. Like, I know that's why a lot of games that you can finish in like 20 and 30 minutes are like very, very lucrative. Like, they do very well, especially with the, like, you know, the people with lives, you know, like the shooters, right? You can hop on a game of Apex and you'll be done in 15 to 20 minutes. So it's really not that big of an ask. Like, I like fighting games that way. Like, I can run a whole set in 10 minutes. Like, I enjoy that, because it's like, okay, well, I can run an entire set right now and I'll be fine. And like, not that much time has passed. I have a lot more things to do whatever the case may be. But you know,
It's that
people
there's
just don't
just
always
too
have
many of them.
time.
I saw this article floating through Twitter recently, again from 2025. It's from Vice and it's titled, US gamers aren't buying video games
need a new
anymore, new study reveals. Basically, what was revealed from this study is that the majority of games are being bought by hardcore players, but not really the casuals. As
Yeah.
seen here, about
See,
63%
exactly
of
what I'm
American
saying.
gamers buy about 2 or less games a year. Crimson Desert will likely be one of the only games that people actually buy at its full triple.
Sorry, how many games do I buy a year? So an interesting study from the marketing research firm Circana recently revealed that gaming habits in the US are drastically shifting in 2025. The results were revealed by prolific games industry expert Matt Piscatella, sorry. What, Matt, why do you only have one T? Where'd the other one go? All right, my bad. In an October 2 post. All right, October 2 post on Blue Sky. Okay, so basically 63% of gamers buy 2 games or fewer per year. How many games have I bought this year? I bought, well, this year it just started. Like, how many games did I buy last year? I don't know. I think Crimson Desert is the first game I bought this year, so we'll see how this goes.
Price point.
See how
But
many
that's
games I
because
buy
the
this
game
year.
is offering a world
know.
that's the size of Red Dead Redemption 2, but with Skyrim levels and more. Obviously, most games can't reach this level of scope. It's just kind of impossible. You could probably fit like 2,000 Resident Evil Requiems in full into Crimson Desert level size-wise and still have room to spare. Another worrying statistic is, according to that same survey that got referenced, that about 33% of American gamers don't even buy a new game every year. So that means
Yeah,
that
wow.
1 out of 3 people that do buy games are just waiting for deep sales, or they're just playing their backlogs instead. The only big sales boost in 2025 as seen here, unsurprisingly, was the Nintendo Switch 2. Beyond that, though, for the most part, AAA was limping
Yeah.
for the most part in 2025.
I
It's
couldn't
more
bring myself to
optimistic
buy
at
the
least
Nintendo
in
Switch 2.
2026,
It just,
but that's mostly
it
'cause
didn't
the
have any
being
games. It
released
wasn't
are
that much
mostly,
similar.
not
Like,
all I know, but
that
mostly
much
devoid
different.
of political
And I still have
nuts or
games on the
censorship.
Switch.
Yeah, I
that,
know those things are
like,
still
I'm
present, but
playing
likely
through.
in Crimson Desert's case at least, it won't be censored or have political nonsense, mostly because it's made
But
in
I will
South
say, if they
Korea.
have
But
another
if a
Shin
Western
Megami
studio
Tensei,
made this,
I'm on that.
would
Like,
be
I
a
love
different
that
story.
series.
You see,
And
the
Persona.
reason why I'm also so against having so many live service games exist at the same time, it's mostly because what ends up happening is you have a select group of games where players spend like hundreds and thousands of hours in those games alone. While that may sound good on paper, what it actually ends up doing is causing these players to then stay in those games. But now because of that, they're not playing new ones anymore, are they? Like, how can they? So you see, the problem
Yep.
here is that by the
And
industry forcing themselves
So he might bring this up, but I'm just gonna say, like, live service games, you have, you can only play so much of them because what I mentioned before, time. You don't have that. It's not an infinite resource. So you have a game that's like asking you, oh, daily here, right? Like, I play like NBA 2K sometimes, right? Not sometimes. I play it a lot. Like, I probably have a few hundred hours in that game, and it's like you have your daily objectives, and then you have your lifetime objectives, and like part of your lifetime objectives is to complete your daily objective X amount of days in a row to get your lifetime objective, and you're just like, well, boom. And I have another game I play a lot called Dead by Daylight. I'm sure many people know what that game is, and that has dailies and that has stuff, and it's like, oh, I want to do that, and then boom, get my dailies here. It's almost like you're coming home from work, and then you have another job, because in order to get the most out of a game, sometimes like they reward you, right? And you should reward your players for playing your game, especially if you're a live service. But they reward you in a way that's just, I don't want to say predatory. It's not, I don't want to say that, but I do want to say it makes it so that you feel obligated to complete this thing, or you're not getting the most out of your game. And I think a lot of people feel that way, which is why a lot of people spend hundreds, if not thousands of hours. Like in Dead by Daylight. Well, Dead by Daylight, to be fair, has been out since like 2016, so like 10 years. I think 2016 is when it came out. And I've been in that game for, I think I've played that game for about 3,000 hours, give or take. Like, but it's been out for 10 years, right? So if I just spend like 200 hours a year, that's, you know, that's 5,000. So I might be around 5,000. I don't know, but you know, it's been out for a very long time. So that's not too bad. But I know people, like, for example, 2K. Sorry, I'm going on this long rant. I'll start the video in 1 second. But with 2K, I have probably about 300 to 400 hours. But a few 2Ks ago, I had like 900 hours. 2K comes out every single year. So that 900 hours came within the span of like one calendar year, and even less than that, really. But it's part of what he's talking about, where if you have live service games, especially if you have too much of them, you have a group of people who are only going to spend time in that game, especially because they've been invested. And once you spend more time in the game, once you do more dailies and you get more rewards in that game, you become more invested in that game and in this particular world, so that when new games come out, you don't have time for them. It's like, hey, I got to get these dailies done in this game. If I don't do that, then after I get done these dailies in this game, it'll about be time for me to wake up in the morning the next day, right? So I have to get off for the night and like do things that way. But sorry for my rant. All right, here we go. Oh, there's a gnat in my face.
To try to turn every game now into like a living platform or something. What they've actually really done is create a self-inflicted problem that now causes the publishers and more to basically cannibalize the same player bases from one another over and over again, right? Call of Duty pulls from Battlefield, Battlefield pulls from Call of Duty, so that sort of thing. And with that battle that's raging on like 24/7 in the background, when a game does release that is full price, like a Crimson Desert, the question then doesn't become, is this game good? Instead, it actually becomes, is this game worth the money that I have to spend on it right now to experience it? And the answer is oftentimes no for many people, although in my opinion, Crimson Desert will probably still do well regardless. But this is why smaller games are thriving too. They're cheaper, they're obviously more creative, and you can finish them quicker, which lets you play other games. But what we're also realizing is that the smaller indie games not only being more interesting, but they also, like I said, take risks. And that shift is slowly reshaping everything in actually a good way. Crimson Desert at least bucks the trend, and while yes, it is still an absolutely huge game, it should and will probably have, you know, a beginning and an end to it. Whereas if this was an MMO like it originally was, we both know that that would not be the case. Ultimately, what this then leads
MMOs
to
are meant
is
to be
that
played
gamers
forever.
didn't stop supporting the AAA industry.
Oh, that's
per se.
cool. I didn't.
The truth instead
never saw
is
this
that
one.
the industry has
Look at that.
lost the
Boom.
trust
What?
of the gamers by doing
That's
what
cool.
they've been doing for so long without realizing the ramifications of it all. For years, right, games have been chasing trends and monetization and more things like that. Everything was built around engagement metrics to then chase the modern audience at one point. Now, unfortunately for them, the consequences have now come full circle. And it's not like the people who play games left or anything. Yeah, they're still here.
Wow,
they're still
that's
playing
cool.
games.
That seems
But now
really
it's
nice.
becoming
I
very
haven't
clear
seen
that
some of this
most
gameplay
people
at
are
all.
now very careful about not really whether a game is good or not, but instead wondering which game actually deserves their money at this very moment. And what I'm hoping with Crimson Desert, Pocopia even Resident Evil, Neo, and many more, is that they're all proving that until this industry as a whole relearns that lesson, this trend isn't going to go anywhere anytime soon. I guess it's either that players are being more selective, or the industry is now heading towards a major correction that it desperately needs.
Yeah.
But either way,
I think like people also need to realize, like, I mean, there was that stupid quote by that one dev that basically was talking about how single player games are dead. They're not at all. Like, people love these type of games. We love being immersed in a world, and just like, we love when creatives create something beautiful and then say, here, do you want to take part in this? And then my answer is almost always yes. Like, if it's good, right? Like, sometimes it's bad and you're like, nah, this is bad. We don't want this. This is bad. But if it's good, you're just like, yeah, why wouldn't I want to do that? Why wouldn't I want to take part in this? Why wouldn't I want to go on this journey, right? Like, single player games aren't dead. Not in the slightest, right? And like when GTA comes out, I feel like that's gonna break the internet. Like we all know it is. And that's gonna start off as a single player game. Obviously, you have GTA Online, which is gonna be the the online aspect of it. But that usually, at least with GTA 5 Online did not come out until about a month after GTA. So we'll have to see how they play that. I think it's going to be very similar. They want people to play the story, but I think once that comes out, people will play the story. And the funny thing is, people who don't even like non multiplayer games will play games like that. People just want good games, man. It like, if you have a really good multiplayer game, that's great. That's dandy. And the thing about multiplayer games is that you can play them infinitely, right? Like basically almost infinitely, where like you just queue up and then you have a match and then you have that match and then boom, and then you want to queue up again, you have that match again, and you do that, right? Whereas these games have a start, a beginning, middle, and end to them. But I think they have a very, very permanent place in like gaming. It's not something that's like, oh, they're going away, they're ever going to go away. No, that's stupid.
I look at Crimson Desert, I think if Pearl Abyss is able to land that game safely and make it deliver on all the fronts that they're promising, yeah, we're about to see a massive success story hit when everyone is trying to be like the next Arc Raiders. They're not actually realizing, oh, maybe we shouldn't be trying to be that. We should try being the next Skyrim, the next Dark Souls, the next Stardew Valley, something else instead, you know? Obviously, you guys all deserve the best games possible for your hard-earned money. That is the goal in the end, no matter what. Your time deserves to be respected, as too does your fandom. While sure, yes, Crimson Desert is releasing into a space kind of hesitant to buy anything, my guess is the game will easily break 100,000 concurrent Steam players day one, maybe even 200,000. I think this will also be a repeat of when Monster Hunter Wilds initially released, which, by the way, that sold about 10 million copies in like a single month last year alone, which was crazy. Wow. The point is that either way, what we need more of are games that respect your money, your time, and your investments. A big reason for me when I play a game is simple. Is it worth the money and time that I spent on it? If the answer is no, I either wait a long time for a sale or I just don't bother to buy the game to begin with. Crimson Desert gives me the feeling that it's going to be more like an atom bomb that's being dropped on everything, and I really hope that it is glorious. Even if the game doesn't hit everything perfectly the way that they're promising, the fact that we're getting a game soon where you can like ride dragons and mechs and dropkick goblins and dive from above the world for full-blown minutes and then glide across the map and everything's rendering in real time is absolutely crazy. I am excited for this game if you can't tell, because it's been a long time since an open world game like this has actually got me really excited. Since maybe, let's be real, besides Elden Ring, all I had the displeasure of playing open world-wise for a long time
Elden
is
Ring.
Usually like, Ubisoft slop. And I'm really hoping that this is nothing.
The downfall of Ubisoft, man, has to be studied. You know, I'm sure there's some very long
Give me real things
video essays
I just
on that.
yearn to have that moment again like I did in Elden Ring, where I went down that random elevator in Southern Limgrave and then I ended up below the map hours later with my eyes widened and my mouth gaped open like, holy crap, dude, this game is way huger than I thought. That's the real discovery. You know what I mean?
Yeah, that
I
want
to be wowed again is the point. I really hope this game delivers and reminds
that was like
what we've been missing for
top
so long
15,
now. Not
top 10 gaming
games,
experiences
just
for me.
Quality in general.
Just doing
Look,
that,
Crimson Desert is either going to be the
just
ultimate
came out
game
naturally.
or the
like
biggest
you're just like,
disappointment
oh, look at
ever.
this, look at this elevator. Where does this go?
But what do you think of all this?
Go to like
are there
some
just too
dungeon or
many
some
games
room.
coming
No.
out? Is it only about the
it was
quality of a
insane.
game now to you? Or are there just too many coming out in general and you care more about the money spent above anything else now? Let me know. Subscribe if you want to. Thanks for watching. See you guys in the next one.
Guys,
go enjoy some good video games
do
today
subscribe.
because you deserve it.
Do subscribe to him. He is very good at what he does. He's awesome. Like Endymion is great.